Hello and welcome to Pronomore Podcast, episode number 8.
Hello, welcome.
We are so excited to be here today to share a really interesting episode.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
Remember you sent me something on Instagram today that I said was really inspiring for what, we're going through both in life and in relationship, and then to what many people in our community and our lives are going through as well, whether it's around healing, whether it's around self-development, relationships, business. The concept of you don't need to fix yourself or keep healing yourself in this perpetual project. You are already the masterpiece.
Yeah, so what I sent you was a quote, something like, you can be a masterpiece and artwork in progress at the same time.
Yes, exactly. You can be a work in progress at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's so relevant because whether, for example, we both have different stories in that, that fits that topic. And exactly what we've been going through with moving into our new house, literally right before the podcast, we started looking around the house at different things that we need to touch up on and our new house, and constantly having things that are a work in progress definitely can all still be masterpieces if we look at the beauty and the awe of, wow, this is already something magnificent. Of course we can always refine, though I think as humans we're constantly looking for perfectionism. I think the mind is seeking that dream to be a certain way, right? And sometimes we get caught up in that image of ourselves or something that we're manifesting, and sometimes we miss the magic of the art that is right there in front of us.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we tend to be really focused on the outcome and on the final thing and the end result and all these things. And that can be physical things, like that can be something like a house or something we create or build, or a business. That can be something we wish for our bodies, like the shape of our bodies, the diet, or the losing weight or something like that. But it can also be can also be our personalities.
The healing journey, for example, too, right? I mean, just speaking from my experience, I know that there's been many iterations on my path of healing where I want to get to this end result of perfect health and perfect vitality, and tried so many different nutritional theories and dietary theories. And, my quest has been to wake up every day feeling incredible. And there's sometimes this sadness that creeps over me when I'm not at my masterpiece, and wanted to just touch upon that for the ones that find that challenge as well.
Yeah, I mean, the question will be, when are we at our perfect 100% anyway? Like, how many days in a year or how many days in our lives are we at the perfect health, perfect energy, perfect vitality, perfect mental clarity, perfect mood, like all these things? I don't know, like it's probably not going to be many days like that, or maybe not even at all, not even one day.
And that's something that's so realistic to talk about, because it takes so much pressure off that, that perfect, that perfect way of being that we sometimes strive overly for when the art is in the journey, as we've talked about in episodes before that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we had the one episode, I think number 1 or number 2, where we talked a lot about goals, and we talked about setting goals, and then we talked about achieving them, and then the whole thing about the journey is actually much more important than the actual goal for many different reasons. And it ties into the same theme here now again with perfectionism, I think, because it's just tied together of our yeah, our visions that we have for all the different things, and the aspirations that we have towards ourselves or towards the things, towards what we are doing. And yeah, it's a big thing.
I think living in Costa Rica has, for example, taught me that perfectionism really doesn't need to exist, because if you look at nature, nature is perfect as she is. Nature is so diverse. Nature is always changing, always fluctuating.
That's a great example.
Right.
If something in this world is perfect, it's actually really is nature. If you look at nature, there's so many examples of you have the most beautiful flowers, you have the most amazing colors, like the colors of nature. There's no way you can reproduce these colors really, like any paint we humans create, any even chemical paint or markers or whatever art supplies. If you look at nature, you're in Costa Rica, so we literally see all many of these things here in real life, and you can witness them. That's just truly amazing. If there's one thing that is perfect, it's probably nature, and I guess it's also nature's rhythms.
And that mimics our body's rhythms, right? So if you look at nature, nature has seasons, nature has cycles. There's winter, there's a time of shedding and letting go. In fall and autumn, there's this time of spring, of rebirth and new beginnings. There's time of summer, of playfulness and inspiration. And our bodies go through that too, because we are nature. Just as in Costa Rica, we've had a ton of rain lately, and there's one way to see it as, okay, it's frustrating, it's making our land so muddy, it's, dampening the energy and the spirit. There's also the cleansing property of nature that allows for things to get clean, and I really love that.
I guess one aspect about that would be talking about perfectionism, and then talking about surrendering. Probably one solution, or let's say one thing we could strive for is to surrender more to all the things and the circumstances and elements or the rhythms, whatever it is. And just instead of forcing our perfectionism through everything, surrender more to what is.
So I'd love to ask you a question, because I know, for example, with surrendering and living here and in this new house and in this new environment, and also maybe even in your journey in Costa Rica, so different than Germany. So Is there a part of the story that you can share that you really started to find more comfort in the surrender and letting go of that perfectionism, to find that your life is a piece of art?
I think it's actually really inspiring for me to remember and remind myself constantly that my life is a piece of art, with all the different things. And I like to share another quote, something, I don't know exactly, but something like it was something that also about like an art object or anything in general. It was something like only some, like the cracks are important because they let the light in.
Yes, about the broken glass. There was a quote about that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful. If I think about my life as an artwork, and I think about all the cracks and all the different things I experienced, and all the imperfections and all the challenges and all the, whatever it is, life changes, heartbreaks, all these kind of things, it's really beautiful to see it as a huge artwork of a whatever shape, with lots of cracks and dents and imperfections, and that actually make it interesting and actually give depth to it and actually make it beautiful. So yeah, that's something really nice. So your question was in Costa Rica, right? What?
Yes, if there's a story or something you can share about how you started to let go of the perfectionism, coming from an environment like Germany, where you were able to live like pretty much on paper, what seemed to be more of like this perfect reality, and coming to Costa Rica and having completely different conditions and circumstances. How did you find that surrender, that true surrender, and really enjoying your life as a work of art?
Yeah, good question. I think there are many parts to it, because I mean, you can try when you come to a country like Costa Rica. I mean, I could have tried to keep everything as I lived before, like have the same sort of like routines and the same standard of living and the same like, goals for myself. But I learned very quickly that this is not really going to work like that. I mean, starting with the different climate and different rhythm in the day, like I pretty much completely lost all my aspirations and also my rhythm of, like, running and sport and all that. That was the start, first of all, because I just need to get used to the climate again, and then I need to adapt to the whole life in general. So, with everything, with food, with sleep, and just being in this country, and the humidity and the warmth and many of these things, they're amazing. And at the same time, we really need to get used to it. So that was one thing. And then, I was going through some life changes too, like big life changes and transformation. So for me, it was a lot changing generally. So the whole journey was about surrender anyway, and really letting go of perfectionism and the details and control, because I was just, otherwise I would have been overwhelmed. I wouldn't be able to control everything in a way of, aspiring to be perfect in any of these.
And then what happened? What did you notice as a result of that when you started surrendering? What blossomed in your life? What really was able to come through that you could have blocked if you were stuck in the habit of the perfectionism or things being a certain way in order to be a masterpiece?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a long journey for me, and I guess I'm still learning and growing more in this. And overall, I think the one learning is that being able to surrender more, I think it's equal to be able to flow more in that sense. So it's something that is more, probably more like a feminine quality than a masculine quality, where I was super structured and super organized and super, I have my plans and I have my, I'm very organized for myself. So I know what to do, I know what to work on, I know what I want to achieve. Like, I have my plans and, distribute my time for the different things I want to do or create or work on. And so I'm very structured in that sense. And that's kind of like the opposite of surrender and flow, more or less. So, one thing that changed really for me since I moved here, not only because Costa Rica, I think it's also tied to my life change and transformations here and my learnings personally, is that I was able to embrace the flow more and be more open to do that and to have things change and to be more flexible and also trust more in what happens, and then also be open to welcome in the miracles of life, because sometimes when things happen and lead you another way and then to what you initially planned, sometimes it's for most of the time it's for a reason, and sometimes it's really beautiful because then you meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have met, or talking about the house, for example, it happened that we took so long, which at the end allowed us to revise some plans and bring in new ideas and change things up. And I talked with another guy recently about it, and I told him the same, because he was like, "Wow, it's so beautiful, and that he put this there and this there." And I told him, "Yeah, we changed all these things. They were totally different at the beginning, and if everything would have been going like it was planned, and if it would have been completed so fast, then we wouldn't have any of that. And now we have beautiful additions and changes that are much, much better than the initial plan. And this is only because the whole process took 2 years, and we had so much time in between to think about it again and rethink and see different things for inspiration and talk to friends. And sometimes it's actually a great example, because some things we were kind of like forced to change things, and it actually was better. Like it's better now.
And that's the beautiful thing. And I remember us talking about some of the changes that we made in the house, and in the moment, it almost seemed like, oh gosh, this is what do we do? You know, this is kind of frustrating. And then I remember you were so brave in your, you know, ability to say, let's switch things up. Let's try this. Let's research this. We'll do this. And that's what created this house as a work of art, and a continual work of art, because we have the ability. It's not like a concrete box that you can't really change. This house has, you know, all wood design, so there's that excitement that we still have the ability to mold and shift and play with this house as we grow too, and the land.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of similar to, so we have the land here. And when you see the land, you compare it to a person. So the land has many resources. You know, we have the earth, we have many plants, we have many trees, we have a river, and it's all like organically shaped, and there's a lot of substance to it. There's a lot you can do with it. And it's similar to a person in the body and the mind, you know, so you have a substance, and there's a lot you can do with it. It's like a blank canvas almost, with some basic things that are already there. And then you start thinking about it, and on a personal, then you start learning something, and you start growing, and you start finding out your hobbies, and you start working and training for a job and exploring your passions. And the same with the land. We build the one house here in one area of the land, and we start shaping that. And this is one area that could be in your personal life. It could be one passion you have and one thing you explore to share with the world. Like, for example, me, it could be music, you know. So this is one thing I want to do, and I'm going to shape. And then I can connect to it. And then you on the land, we have the outdoor kitchen. There's another thing we built and we created, which is connected to the first thing we did. And then we have, you know, the outdoor shower and the outdoor bathtub that wasn't planned to be external at the beginning. So, and then we shape the earth, we plant fruit trees, and we do gardens, and we do pathways and little magical places to relax. So we expand, we build on over time, and it's like a personal journey. I would say it's all these little islands. It's like little islands that connect, little islands of growth, islands of experiences, islands of skills we learn, things we explore, and they all kind of like tied together because they're on the same land, they're on the same person. And that's the beautiful thing of allowing us to explore this land, which is actually huge. Like, if we talk again the metaphor of the land being a person, it's huge. It has so much potential and so much space to do and so much to explore. And I think in some people in their lives, they only stay on the one side of the land, in the one half of the land, and they don't even go further. They don't even know what is there, what else is there to explore, or that there's so much more space to do something with, so much more capacity, substance, potential to do something with, to explore, to learn something else, to build a new skill, to explore a passion, you know. And that's a beautiful way to see these things and to embark on the journey of exploration. And the one thing you need for this is creativity.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting because the two of us never owned land before, and for you, you're the first person in your family that owned land. So I was just thinking of that, of how our nervous system, how our brain, how everything is getting rewired right now, because, you know, my parents own their land, but then I've been renting apartments through my whole life. And of course, grounding into a new place as the two of us, as a couple, as new landowners, as first-time landowners, as of course we're getting this whole recalibration happening. And we're realizing at first we just wanted to have the house built, everything done, move in, it be perfect. And we've had to have this little growth period, because I think that's so natural, because it's not meant to just be done so quick. This is the first time in this lifetime both of us are doing this, and for you in your kind of like your ancestry. So it's a celebration. It's like it's a time to just really enjoy that process, because it's something so new and so exciting. And I think it's a huge mindset shift take yourself off that pressure cooker of it needs to be a certain way, it needs to be that way now, we can slow down, enjoy the ride of this and the emotions that come with it and the uncertainties that come with it, to allow ourselves to explore and be more creative.
Yeah, totally.
So now drawing our attention to something we talked about a little earlier, that's also a really exciting topic, is you had a music single out called Ocean, and then you decided to expand it for very exciting reasons. So I'd love to talk about that in terms of passion and purpose in creating a masterpiece over time, rather than having the expectation that on the first launch or first project that thing has to be that masterpiece. It's something, when we release that pressure, the dream can actually become greater than what we anticipated.
Yeah, I think it's a great example. And I didn't know you asked me the question, but I think it is a great example. It fits in here very well because, so to describe it, I'm embarked on this journey to follow my passion for music and, being a musician and also recording music. I'm writing songs, I'm composing songs, and I started with working with a producer to produce my first song last year. And I launched it, I released the song, and of course, before the release, I was really excited because I even had a mentor at that time. I still have a mentor, but he was also very excited, and there seemed to be a lot of potential and possibly a lot of open doors that this release could bring, and the song could bring. And then you don't know, I thought, who knows? Maybe the song will reach many people, or some people that then will open some doors and want to work with me, or some labels or whatever. You don't know what happens. It can be that the song will reach 5 people or 5,000 or 5 million. It's just a lot of luck in the equation again, also. But so I guess most of the time, what will happen is that it will go out, and then it will not be the one song that changes your life. And that was the same for me. So I'll release the song. I'm still proud of it. I think it's beautiful. And it didn't get millions of views, far away from that, or streams, whatever you want to call it. So it didn't really change a lot in my life at all, basically. I have a song out, and it was nice. And, a couple of people talked about it, and then it was done, basically. So people could say, oh yeah, that could be disappointing, considering that you put energy in, you put money in, and hope, and then, a couple hundred people listen to it, and then that's basically it, and then it's kind of like sleepy mode, and nothing happens anymore. And so then going back to number one, going back to the question, okay, what are your goals and aspirations? And then for me, it was very clear, I have to be on this journey. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for making music, bring the gifts into the world that I can share. And it is not so much tied to a success generally. It's not so much tied to a success of becoming a millionaire or a famous rock star or anything like that. It's also not tied to a success of a particular song getting a million streams. It was clear for me, it's a journey. I'm doing it. I don't know how much I'm doing. I don't know how many songs I release and how many people are going to listen to it. It's not a question. It's not questionable. It's not like, oh, if this song doesn't perform well, if I don't get more than 100,000 streams, then I don't do it again. And then it's a failure. In my mind, it was not possible. That's a failure. 5 streams or 20 or 100, whatever many people, it doesn't matter. For me, it was clear. It's a journey. I'm doing it, and I keep going because I enjoy it. It's fun for me. I like it. So then it's even more unattached to the outcome, actually. And of course, I like if many people listen to it, but at the same time, it was just natural for me to keep going. And I knew, okay, this is the first thing. It could be amazing and reach millions of people, or probably never millions, but let's say, thousands of people, or, not. And I knew before I released it, in either ways, I'm honestly fine. And of course, I would have hoped that it would have changed my life more. But then I knew, okay, it's just about continuing, and then So I talked with my mentor, and we did some sort of remix of the song, more like an electronic dance version. So the first song was more like an acoustic, indie folk, modern folk song. And so then we did an electronic dance version. And for me, at the same time, it was also still a question of, okay, finding out who I am as a musician, like finding my vision. So I knew, of course, it has to be a process. I still didn't really know what do I want to create, what music I want to create. So and ended up that over, it's been more than a year since I released the song, and so now I'm releasing a next project in a couple of weeks, which I think ties together a lot of the visions that I wanted to find out.
And so, how does that relate to this bigger vision becoming more of the masterpiece?
Yeah, so I think we talked about the artwork and being still an art, the masterpiece, and being an artwork in progress, right? So I did the first release, and then I found out over time, because I gave myself the time. I didn't force anything, and sometimes I thought, okay, maybe I should have released more by now. I should have done more, and it's been so many months now without me doing anything musically like that for myself. And at the same time, I was always working on, I was always creating, and with time that I had, because I was doing other things, it wasn't, my livelihood didn't depend on it, So for me, it was good to have a lot of space. And then I started doing the electronic dance version. That was kind of cool. And I figured out that it was kind of challenging to work with a producer like that comes from a completely different space, sharing visions. But it was nice. We ended, at the end, we got a great track. And then I started doing meditations, and I started composing music myself and getting into production myself. And I found out, wow, actually I can create much better, because I can really bring out what's in my heart and soul much easier if I do it myself. And I created a sound journey meditation that I completely produced myself. And I learned over the year, how to do it, how to produce, how to mix and master, do the whole process myself. So I did that, and I finished that track. And then I got the idea, okay, it's not only about a song that I'm doing and releasing, it's about much more. It's not like an experience. And I developed this whole new approach of making music and releasing music. And so now what I do is I re-release my first song in an EP, which includes the first version of the song and the electronic dance version of the song, instrumental version, and the guided meditation. And the guided meditation is themed on the same theme of the song, the ocean song. So it's a whole experience now with many different facets to it. It's a journey between stillness and dance, so to speak, the whole spectrum. It's not only a song, it's not only music, it's much more than that. And I'm super curious what happens and what people are gonna say. I think it's a new way. I never saw something like that, an EP that bridges so many, like, even genres, from like a more acoustic folk to electronic to meditation. So I'm curious what happens, and this goes all the way back to what we've been talking about, to give space, surrender to the flow, and see and explore what we can do. It's similar to the land. You explore this corner and then this corner, and then what you can create there and what you can create there, and how you can tie it all together. And so I did that with this little project, just as an example. And still the whole time, trusting and surrendering to collaboration, to learning, to growth, to not knowing, not having answers, not knowing what to do next, not knowing who I am as a musician, not knowing what I should do next. I have so many songs that are not done or kind of done, or material. Just really giving it time and space and going with the flow, instead of having my plan, as I initially had, of the whole album with all these songs that are kind of done, and all these things and all these ideas, and then doing something completely different, because it was at the end, it was just obvious. It was just the one thing easy for me to do, and it suddenly clicked, and I had the idea, and it took me a couple of weeks to put it together, and yeah, that's it.
I think that's such a testament to how when there's something we're meant to do, we have all that power and all that excitement to just really go into it and follow that compass of our heart that's driving us into the masterpiece, not using our mind to think of what we should do, right? Really going into that more feminine aspect of flow, receptivity, asking the universe, bring me the clients to show me where I'm most in service on the retreat, right? Like what theme of retreat is most aligned with where I'm at right now. So I think that that's such a great way that you're feeling the guidance from the music and what's being called forward.
Yeah, this is one example. It applies to anything in life, to many different things, that whatever you want to.
Yeah, even relationship too, right? It's allowing the flow of the relationship to become a work of art over time, and that releasing that perfectionism around it being and looking and acting a certain way that creates pressure.
Yeah, there's this other quote or saying or whatever. It goes something like this. It's like along the lines of, the universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need. And this also goes, like, it's translatable to all the things, to relationships, to circumstances, professional careers, lifestyles, anything.
And one of the things too, it's like letting go of that perfectionism. You allow the natural way of life to blossom. Even with relationship, you allow the natural beauty of relationship to blossom, to deepen.
Yeah. And I guess also, I mean, from a standpoint as an artist, and I guess also from a standpoint as just a human being, is that anything you do in the world, or you say, or you create, anything will never resonate with anyone.
Everyone.
Sorry, I hope it will resonate with anyone. No, it will never resonate.
I was like, way to be pessimistic.
No. Okay, anything you do or create or say, anything like that will never resonate with everyone.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what I want to say. So already when whatever you do, it's already not perfect anymore, because it just doesn't work like that. So I think it's a good reminder to take some pressure off yourself, because there will be people that don't like you. There will be people that don't like what you say or how you look or your haircut or your artwork or your painting or your music or whatever it is. There will always be people that don't like it. They cannot relate to it. For whatever reason, they don't understand it, and it's fine. And when you know that from the beginning, and then it happens to you, then you can just say, oh, that's one of these people. That's one of these people. Okay, I knew them.
Yeah,
I know them. Like, and that just helps. I think that just helps to do more and say more and act, like create more, and wear you colorful clothes or you crazy whatever haircut you want. Like anything, it will encourage you more, because okay, that's one of them. It's fine.
I love that what you also sent me earlier with Snoop Dogg, of letting go of validation, because you've got to validate yourself. You created this.
It's so funny. I don't know, for some reason I watched something from Snoop Dogg, and then suddenly all these things come up, and I see all these like video clips and reels, and he's actually, I don't have a lot to do with him. Like, I don't really follow him or listen to him or anything, but just I think he's cool and he has some good wisdom to share. And he was talking about mental health. So he did a video, or like a video clip, and then he said at the beginning he said, and I also thank myself. And then he explained, because he said it's mental health is being thankful, like, towards yourself and giving yourself the appreciation that normally people are looking for in other people. Because that's mental health. It's important that you thank yourself and you appreciate yourself, and you, what else did you say?
You validate yourself.
Yeah, validate yourself.
For someone who, for me, for example, I look outside all the time. I'm like, did that help someone? Did someone like it? Am I loved because of that? And then reminding myself at the end of the day, wow, that felt really good to create that. Wow, I'm so loved. Wow, thank you. I love myself. And it's such a reminder to take yourself out of that perfectionism mentality and validate yourself and say, wow, I'm doing great. This is such a process, and here I am on this journey, being courageous, being, stepping out of my comfort zone, going past my edge. Doesn't have to be perfect, can be messy. I can make mistakes. That's a big one for me.
I was just going to say it. I was just going to ask you, what's your relationship to failure and mistakes?
Well, currently, I'm learning how to accept that and to see that mistakes aren't bad or wrong. It doesn't mean that I did something wrong.
How do you connect that to love?
Oof, that's a good one. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
My fear for my entire life has been that if I make mistakes, I won't be loved. I won't be worthy of love. Love will be taken away. I'll have abandonment. All of that, all of those fear around mistakes, because that's just my childhood upbringing, where that it wasn't a safe space to make mistakes. So I'm learning in a safe relationship with you that, wow, just because I make mistakes, and you encourage it, you say, try, think, use your brain. And even I test you so much. You're such an amazing man, but I test you just to, not on purpose, but, just to see that it's safe to make mistakes. Is it still safe? It is still going to love me, even if I make the same mistake 1,000 times. And that's what's really beautiful about a conscious partnership, and a really solid person to be in relationship with that helps you learn that mistakes are okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most important things we can learn as kids, as children. So that's one of the most important things I wanna have my daughter experience, that she is fine failing, breaking things, failing with things, and give her the time. I mean, that's what they say. For example, for children, they say that you as a parent, you're supposed to let them figure things out themselves. Like very early on, let's say they have a toy, and then the toy and there's the challenge of how it works, or how you can put the things into the thing, and then they're gonna experiment with the different shapes and see how it fits, or something as simple as a zipper, getting it together and zipping up the hoodie or something like that. So, and some parents think that they see it, and then the kids obviously cannot do it, and then they just help them straight away.
Especially if they're crying. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get like, and then they get frustrated, and it's good to let them do it for a while and figure it out, because they develop some sort of strengths in the ability to figure things out, and to know it's okay if something doesn't work straight away. It's okay to play around with it and fail and not being able to do it, and then eventually you can show them and teach them. But it's such an important and actually super simple thing to have them figure out things themselves before you help them eventually, and develop this strength, this resilience,
right?
and the empowerment too, because eventually they're gonna succeed, and this is an amazing feeling for them. And then they have the feeling, okay, they actually figured something out, they did it. It just takes some time, because when you have that mindset, it just takes some time, I'm just gonna try a little bit more and figure out and look at it from different perspectives. That's such an important thing.
And I realize that's, for me, my biggest struggle is the concept of it's going to take some time. I get worried. I get a lot of fear when I'm trying something, I'm learning something new, and I don't get it right away. Because in my childhood, it was like, okay, you can try, but you have to get it right away. Like my mom would snap her fingers like in my face to get things right. And so I have this reaction of the moment I'm faced with figuring something out on my own, whether it's so simple around the house, but then I get this contraction in my chest immediately of, oh shit, like if I don't figure this out fast. So I sometimes paralyze, I freeze. I just go into this fight or flight mode of it's probably not worth to try because I'm going to get punished and love's going to get taken away. So I freeze. And it's something I'm still working on, and that's a work in progress for sure. And giving myself the compassion. I'm still a masterpiece, even if I can't figure, basic things out that many people can figure out. I think it's because I get in this freeze mode, and it's not like I can't figure it out. I'm just really afraid of failing.
Yeah, I mean, masterpiece means that basically you already have some masterpiece parts, which is on in a person, it would be you have different things you're really good at. You have different strengths and talents, and just a very lovable character and being, and all these things, they make you as a masterpiece. And then you have all the things where you're not good at and where you're still learning and where you don't have any idea, which is the work in progress, right? So, and when we remind ourselves about our good things, and that's a very, very powerful thing. And that's also what Snoop Dogg was saying. I thank myself. I thank myself for being here, showing up here, like being amazing in this and this and this, and really acknowledging and give myself the validation. And I'm a masterpiece. I am already a masterpiece. So no matter what else I do, I'm already a masterpiece. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing because when you said that the good qualities and the talents, like many people have the fear of public speaking, for example. I've never had that fear of going on stage, except in chorus when I didn't like my voice or didn't think I had a good voice. I was very afraid of being on stage in chorus in high school, in choir. But in general, I'm super happy to public speak, to be on camera. I'm really, really comfortable, and I take things in one take. I light up,
Yeah. And I think we each of us, we all have many different things we're really good at, and many things that come natural to us. So we just got to find them, which is another story. We all have them, and then we also all have many things we're not good at, and we also have many things that we will never be good at, and we shouldn't. That's fine.
And that's what's so beautiful too about relationship too, is seeing where the other person is a masterpiece and celebrating that, and having that, that mirror reflection of, wow, you are incredible at this, and the areas that are works in progress, the mistakes are safe. Like you're safe in this, you're safe in learning.
And I think that's also always a challenge. It's a challenge for me, myself, to sometimes focus on all the things I'm amazing and good at, versus putting the focus on the things that I'm not good at yet, that I want to learn, that I'm still struggling, or the mistakes I make. Sometimes it's easier to focus on all these quote-unquote negative things, and then you can be in a negative energy. I can be in a negative energy and kind of like depressed, like all sad, and like, it's like a shitty day. And this is similar in relationships, where sometimes it's easy to focus on the shortcomings of your partner, and then I find that for myself. Then it's all this energy, and then you're just looking for the next mistake, and you're looking for the next moment your partner messes up something, and it's really easy to get stuck in this energy too. And then the magic is to really go on reset and find out or focus on the good things again, that are normally much more present than the shortcomings.
I think that's so beautiful you said that, because it's truly the law of attraction. If you're going to look for the qualities in someone,
absolutely,
that person's automatically just going to start doing them all the time because you're manifesting it.
Absolutely. And then if the other person plays well into it, then it's amplified even more. And I saw that for us too, where then, I'm in that energy, and then you're in that energy, and then you get even more afraid to make mistakes, which brings you into more like a rigid kind of like energy, like a freezing energy, and where you even more cautious and like, anxious. And then of course you make more mistakes. And then the self what's it called,
judgment, or
no, the
sabotage.
Confidence. That's another topic. Yeah, the confidence, the self-confidence that goes low and low and low because you make more and more mistakes, and the whole energy gets really out of whack, and then it's just not nice being around each other.
We're making this commitment on air right now that we're in a new cycle now. That is not happening anymore, because we are masterpieces, and we can cycle in two different realities. We can cycle in, I'm a work in progress and I'm not a masterpiece, or I am a masterpiece and a work in progress, and cycle in that loop of knowing, okay, I am a masterpiece and I'm a work in progress, rather than the negative qualities that also can be such a loop if we get stuck there. So consciously choosing for yourself personally to really focus on, I'm a masterpiece and I'm a work in progress. And then if you're with a partner or you have a family, to see that reality for them too, because it really frees them. And with the law of attraction, it really supports people energetically as well. When they know that you see them as that as well, it's really helpful. It really is a great energy to be around.
Yeah, and it's actually also very powerful. Again, going back to the kind of like the law of attraction or manifestation energies, it's really powerful when you visualize another person. And I heard this from many people, for many different things: relationships, work relationships, colleagues, boss. It's amazing. I read a couple of amazing stories and heard some amazing stories when you just change the story about that person in your mind. You were like, yeah, my boss is super kind. He always appreciates me. He really values my work. And he totally sees me and all I'm doing. And he's super, generous. When you reprogram that story in your mind, at the same time, what you're doing, you give that person the chance to take part in that story and to be that person and be that boss or be that partner. When you say, yeah, I have my amazing partner that's so conscious and so beautiful and really, the one person I always want to be with and that always understands me, then you give the person the chance to jump into that story and take on that personality. And it's really powerful. It sounds kind of like, okay, haha, yeah, what are you talking about? I don't believe that, but I heard it from so many people, and it's just energy. It's just some sort of energetic connection. And I mean, we know so much that we don't know about humans and how we work, and I think that's a big part of it. That it's just magic, and we don't have to understand it. We just have to do it if you want to, and enjoy the benefits.
I've seen it work. Both of us have seen it work. It's literally letting go of projections and giving people the space to be the most, amazing people in our lives. And, it's happened with family. It's happened, over and over again. And it's one of those, if we learn that lesson, we can create so much more space for everyone around to co-create masterpieces with.
Yeah, and that works for people that you know, especially because maybe even people have had a certain image or certain traits, certain behavior over a long time towards you, and then it's kind of like gets stuck, and then the other person doesn't really have a chance to change towards you, because if you have that image of that person for a long time already and just like keep being attached to it, it's super hard for the other person energetically to come into a new alignment with you. And it also works for people that you don't even know. Let's say you go to the post office or the bank or whatever you got to do, and then even before you can say, well, thank you for all the beautiful workers in there, for the employees. Thank you for a great service, and thank you that they're so friendly and so amazing and helped me so fast. And you can already visualize that everyone is going to be super nice to you and super kind, and then you have a whole different energy too when you go in there. And then usually that's what's going to happen energetically. It's a different alignment than when you go all in there all like stressed and grumpy, and you think, oh, I'll probably have to wait for like 1 hour, and then they don't understand me again and all that. It's just a different energetic energy that you send out and that you connect to and that people connect to. And for some reason, it's just how it works. When we don't have to understand it, but you can try for yourself. Just try for yourself. I invite you to do some experiments with that. And then you can see how it's going to work out. And you can share with us. That'll be fun.
It definitely is. Yeah, it definitely has been a fun experiment to do. I do it at the bank. I've made it to be, a much more enjoyable experience. And also it's seeing people as a work in progress and a masterpiece, seeing people in their humanness. Okay, that person could have responded, harsh to me that day, but that person's also going through something and has their own story. So they're also a work in progress. I don't need to hold everyone to the expectation that they're a masterpiece 100% of the time. You know.
Yeah, that's where it gets really beautiful, because oftentimes, so let's talk about relationships real quick. In relationships, so I come from a background, I have very, very high aspirations and set very high standards for myself, and I would naturally also do it in a relationship. I would set the same high standards to my partner, and this can make things really challenging. I mean, it will already make things challenging for myself, and it can make things really challenging for the relationship, for my partner too. And same in the world. Like if we are so persistent in our own perfections and have these high standards and aspirations for ourselves, then we will naturally also project it onto all the people around us, being it, employees of some companies, or, the person at the checkout in the bakery, or whoever it is. We will naturally project it onto all of them. And so if we stop doing it, and everything starts with ourselves. If we stop doing it for ourselves and allow more imperfections and allow more flow, more compassion towards ourselves and more gentleness, then it's also naturally going to come onto our partners and our families and our kids and to everyone around us that we deal with. We have more compassion, we have more gentleness. We are able to be more soft and more loving to everyone. And this is like a ripple effect that can go through the whole world. And it's such a beautiful vision I have right now of everyone just being so much more gentle and kind and understanding to each other. That will make the world just so much better.
That's a total mic drop moment right there. That's amazing. I mean, that's so well said. I don't know how to follow that one up.
Yeah, just take a moment and imagine this world. That's just nice.
What a wonderful world this would be.
Totally. Because we all have that potential. That's the thing. We humans, we weird, unique beings, we all have the potential to interact with each other like that.
And I really believe that is possible. It's a muscle that we just get to learn to flex, because I think so often we've been, raised a different way. And this is a beautiful experiment. I'm excited to hear feedback on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said one important word there. You said experiment.
It's an experiment, right?
That's actually what the whole thing is. It's just a whole big experiment. It's a game. And I think we tend to forget that oftentimes. I try to remember more and more now, but I also still forget sometimes. Actually, frequently I forget it. And I get caught up in things and caught up in the little things and little challenges, the little annoying things and whatever happens. And it's like, just remember, it's just a freaking game. It's just an experiment.
The next time that I smush a bunch of bananas on my way home on the bumpy road, because I'm carrying a lot of papayas and bananas and other fruits, and then papayas smush the bananas in the quad, it's a reminder, hey, this is just a little thing. It's only an experiment. It's only a game. My partner brought up the bananas all the way down. I'm grateful. Those little moments. Yeah,
true. And I always remember, I don't think I will ever forget, like, one thing, some person here, I met him here, something he shared with me, and he was in his 50s towards 60 maybe, and he said one of the most important things, or the most impactful things in his life, and one of the things he wished he would have changed or learned earlier, is that he was too focused on the little things, in the sense of, he will try to control it too much, of being someone being conscious, perfect, thoughtful of all the little things that don't really matter so much. It's like, it's like an example of like what you just shared. One example of that, like you have, the bananas get smushed or something, or how much paper tissues someone is using, instead of saving them for the environment and for the money, and you could use whatever else. It's just all these little things that we tend to get caught up a lot. And he said this is probably one of the biggest learning. He said if he would have let go of all these little things more, it would have been such a better experience for just a little cost.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful reminder. It's like, really, there's a bigger picture out there. There's so much. we have so much more capacity to work on our passions, on our projects, be in our relationships with love, rather than focusing on minute, sometimes very mundane things that then get us so distracted from the bigger picture.
Yeah, I think one reason though is also, and this kind of connects to one of the series we
Oh
recently
yeah,
watched.
I want to watch more of that one.
Yeah, we don't really watch a lot at all, and are very particular and conscious about what we watch, because there's so much stuff that is just not, not high frequency, not really good and healthy to watch. But the one theory is kind of touching on spirituality and touching on very interesting aspects of humanity. It's called The Good Place. And so one of the learnings, or the kind of like insights of that series is that life as human beings by now became so complicated in the sense of the decisions we make, because our lives now have evolved so much. We have so many opportunities and so many things we can get, and it's globally so connected, and we have so much knowledge and so much wisdom, and it so much intransparency also, because so the series is all about basically that humans kind of like get judged or like get rated. They get points. It's like a point system, and that determines if when you die you get to the good place or you get to the bad place. And the bad place really sucks. You don't want to be there. And the good place is like what people would call heaven. So, and in the series is like, yeah. So there's a point system. So we don't know that as humans, but automatically for everything we do, all the actions, everything we do in our lives, we constantly get plus points or minus points. And so I don't want to do like a spoiler or something, but so my insight of that, or my takeaway from that is what they shared at some point, is that our lives got so complex by now, and I really try to be a good person, like always. I try to be a good person. I try to make good decisions. I try to don't living in Germany, I try to don't buy the fruit that gets shipped around the whole world, comes from whatever else. And I think about ecological footprint and sustainability and resourcefulness and all these things. And then the notion is that by now it became so hard for us humans to make good decisions sometimes, because we don't even know. We don't even know where these tomatoes come from in the store. We don't even know who was involved in it, and how were the workers treated and what stuff is sprayed on it. Sometimes it's just so hard for us to make good decisions like that. But that's exactly the point. We can now try and make everything perfect, to come back to that theme. Make all the perfect decisions that are good for everyone, for the people, for the nature, sustainable, whatever, ethically correct. And we can really get caught up in the details and the little things. Or we can be like, okay, this is probably not the best for this and this right now, but in the greater good, it's still fine. I focus on the bigger impact I can make. I can really, for a couple hours, to research on this right now, to at the end maybe be able to make the ethically and sustainably like most best decision I can make. But what impact is it gonna have? I can also use the time to connect more with my loved ones, my family, improve my relationships, put it into my crafts and skills and my art that I share with the world, and make an impact in another way. And I think that's just a challenge I personally was going through a lot, is how to distribute my time and energy into these little things, try to find out the best ways to live in this world. Or be like, okay, I know this is probably not the best decision right now for many different reasons, but it's okay, it's fine. I use the energy better to leverage something else that then has a much, much bigger impact.
Yeah, it's like spending an hour, 2 hours on Google. I remember seeing you do that and for so long, and then at the end you'd be so frustrated because you didn't even find the thing or the solution, and it ended up being like a complete waste of time. You would have rather spent it on creative projects and things that really spark joy.
Yeah, it's like you buy a product, and I mean, you had the two. Like you wanted to buy like a pan.
Oh yeah,
a pan that is
safe for the environment, safe for us,
safe for you as a human, with like not has any weird coatings on or something. That's produced good and good quality. And I find myself so often reading tons of reviews about products that I want to buy, and spending hours and hours finding things out because I just care. And sometimes it's hard when you care because then you care so much that it's just difficult to draw a line where to stop. You can endlessly go on with everything right now in this world. Like it's just so challenging, and that's exactly the point of like, okay, letting go, and also what my friend was sharing that I was talking about earlier. Okay, it's just amazing if we can let go a bit more and be like, okay, this is probably not the best product, the best solution, the best decision, but it's going to be fine.
Yeah, and coming back to becoming that, self-validation machine for yourself of being like, okay, I'm doing the best I can. That's great. I care, and that's fine. That I have compassion for my shortcomings or my, not enough knowledge on this subject, or, my skills aren't, I'm not an expert in this yet. It's okay. I don't need to focus and take all the time away from all the other aspects of my life because of that. I get to really enjoy life. I'm a human here to enjoy life.
Exactly. It's a reminder to enjoy life, and not be freaked out by all the decisions we make all the time.
Ooh, can you repeat that? I love to hear you say that. It's super
to enjoy
sexy.
Life.
Yeah, keep going.
And not be freaked out by all the decisions we have to make all the time.
How does that feel?
Cool. Yeah.
He makes a lot of decisions, right?
Well, you're better at enjoying life and ignoring decisions.
I just make decisions fast. I just feel it in my gut. I feel it. If I know a yes, it's a yes. If I feel it and, I'm like, then it's a no. And I'm very impulsive. If I want something and it feels good.
Yeah, and you also know that we were opposite end of a spectrum. For you, the task was to balance it more.
Definitely balance it more.
So you actually take some time, sometimes, to think about some things a bit more and give yourself some time before you make decisions. We
balance each other out.
It's like everything in life. It's always about balance. Mm-hmm. It's about food, about sport, about work, about life, about everything. Is always, most of it is fine if you are in balance. So, it's also not like, okay, fuck it, and just don't think about anything and just don't make decisions at all. Or you always make decisions, but just like
not the important ones,
don't
right?
care, or like don't put any effort in anything. Of course, it's not the solution.
No, or giving your power away to someone else who makes the decisions. That's something that we've learned very well, is that Maxim makes decisions very well. And he's great at researching, and he's great at his commitment to find the best way possible to do things. And so for me, if someone who just loves to have fun and not really have to think about all those things, it's been easy for me to give my power away. Now I'm realizing that I can do both, that I can have my power, make decisions, be part of, contribute, take responsibility, and also really enjoy life with that power.
Yeah, and you also learn that it seems like it's easy to just have fun and you go to the beach and enjoy things. And in the long term, things are going to come back haunt you. Like things that you avoided to deal with, decisions you made that were really not good. It seems like it's easy to just, okay, bye, I'm just going to have fun. I choose to have fun all the time. And then it usually doesn't work like that so much.
I've realized I get to have more fun when I have better discernment in decision making, right? When I'm able to really have that integrity with myself and say, okay, this is a decision I have a stake in, I'm really going to research this, take the time, sacrifice, for example, my fun time to take this on, to clean up the past, to work on these other things. And it ends up creating more space for joy because it really creates it from a more grounded place.
Yeah, I think a guiding way here could be, or guiding system could be, just ask yourself, okay, this decision, how big our decision is it? Like, how important is it? Or you have some sort of rating system for yourself. And then the big decisions, the big things, you're going to give yourself some more time and you put some more energy in. And most of them are going to be more smaller things that are actually not so important. And then you can save your energy there. It's like the 80-20 rule that is applicable to many, many different things. It's like it's like 80% of the things, decisions you deal with all the time are probably not going to be so important, and 20% are going to be actually making 80% of the impact.
I have a challenge for us.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so your challenge is to focus on those decisions that actually, in the morning when you get to choose how you spend your day. The day's decisions could be, working on something in the house right away because that's what you feel. Okay, this is on my mind. I see it. I want to fix it. Or if you don't have a meeting scheduled, you don't have a call scheduled, to give yourself that permission to enjoy your life, to go down to the beach or to go outside and just do something fun, not because you have to or you think you should, and really take that opportunity to really feel the masterpiece of your life that is right in front of you here in Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's a great reminder.
What's your challenge for me?
Challenge for you.
Yeah, I give you a tough one, sweetie. I said enjoy your life.
Yeah, some people will be like, what? This guy is a weirdo.
I know, he wakes up in the morning and sands a table.
No, that's the thing is, for people like me, that are so dedicated to doing things and solving things and improving things, there's always something you're going to find to work on, to create. And then now, I mean, even before it was like that, but now even being in an environment where many things are in process and I see things all the time because I have such an eye for detail, I just notice everything. Like, okay, there's something to fix, there's something to do, there's something to improve. It's just like full on. I could go for weeks without doing anything else.
You do?
So yeah, that's what happens frequently. I start in the morning and then suddenly I notice it's afternoon and I didn't do any of my, things I actually want to do, like creative things and work things and stuff like that, because I was just caught up in dealing with stuff here. But yeah, or might be some people, I think you have been more one in the past, that just have the feeling they have to do, they have to work, they have to achieve, they have to learn, instead they have to do all these things for reasons like, appreciation and love and all these things. So maybe some of you can relate. Yeah.
So what's your challenge for me?
My challenge for you.
Yeah.
Again.
Give it to me. Give it to me dirty. Sexy.
Goodness. Okay, my challenge for you again is to find ways how you can bring more organization in your life in a way that you maybe finally start some sort of system where you have lists of the things you want to do, and just they don't have to be things like chores or like things you have to do. They can also be things you want to do in the sense of things you want to create or things you want to do with your gifts and your projects, just so that they're a bit more structured there. And before you just go out and spend the day of not doing anything or going to the beach or just like doing your having fun program, you look
so dirty. Talking dirty.
Yeah, you look at this list and then you prioritize and choose a couple of the things that would make a super big impact in your life because you want to do them and they will bring you forward.
Do you know what's number 1 on my list?
What?
Making love.
Funny.
That's staying in the episode, by the way.
But that's also fun. That's in the fun category.
Oh, that's in the fun? No.
Totally.
Just kidding.
So funny.
It does make a big impact, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Manifestation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be saved for another episode.
No, because I think the summary is for 2 different reasons. We both sometimes have days or times where we both don't really do what we really want to do, in a sense of what really would have a big impact on our lives and on things we want to create. So at the end of the day, we're like, oh, I didn't do this today and this and this and this, and I have all these ideas, but I didn't do any of them, or I didn't really progress with my projects and my passion things and my sharing my gift with the world, and and it's for different reasons. For you, is it that you just go out and have fun and don't really have a plan sometimes, and then just the day's over and you just had fun and did some things out there, and at least you feel good with doing that. And for me, it's because I get caught up. And for me, is that I get caught up with doing a bunch of other things, taking on responsibilities that aren't necessarily mine, doing things that I see that are not so important right now, but at least then they are done, and then I'm like, okay.
So neither of us, the funny thing is, it's like you can't blame anyone but yourself in these moments.
Yeah, of course.
And we're a work in progress, so it's okay. But at least we're learning and we have the mirror of a relationship. It's for someone to actually say, hey, sweetie, it's great you have some lists. Okay, sweetie, you know what? It's great. You go have more fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and the amazing thing is that there are also other days for us, which goes again to the point of perfectionism and work in progress. Yeah, some days it's fine. Some days you naturally know what to do when you work on your composing and breathwork tracks and whatever you really want to do that has an impact on your life and on other people's lives. And sometimes I am in flow and do work on my music or different other work commitments and projects, and it's also fine,
The end result is that you all go to the good place. It's this human experiment, and the end result is that this is a finite time on earth, so make mistakes, have fun, learn, allow yourself to be messy, to be free, to try new things, to build a house in the middle of a jungle in an environment and in a place where you know nothing about any of it, and learn and have fun and, go out of your comfort zone, whether it's, building a house or building a future.
One of my most favorite mindsets / quotes, guiding phrases from the whole startup entrepreneur community is fail forward.
That's a good one.
Fail forward. That's what we all do in life. Yeah. We start as kids and we mess up tons of times and make all the mistakes because we don't have any idea of nothing, at least not from this human plane. And we fail forward our whole lives, and it's probably never going to end.
Very inspiring.
Yeah, I love it. That means mistakes are great because you fail forward. You just learn from them and then you go one step forward and you fail again and one step forward. It's such a cool picture in my mind. It's like, I'm going to fail forward the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, how else are you going to figure things out? Exactly. You tell me that all the time. I'm finally getting it. Well, that is a very inspiring way to conclude this episode. So go try something new for all of you on the path of creating things in the world. Go put your voice, your message out, share in a new way, try something that is a little bit past your edge, and then tell us about it. We love hearing from you. Most of all, that keeps us lit up and inspired to keep creating.
For sure.
And we love these conversations. I mean, I love staring into your eyes and listening to your voice for over an hour. It's super fun.
That was fun.
That was great.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And that's it. I say bye. Right?
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, or hear you next time.
Oh, yeah. Soon we're going to go on video. That's going to be an experiment.
Eventually, yeah.
Ooh, camera. Alrighty. Well, lots of love to you all. Bye.